Good morning everyone. Tara, nagtago na ako guys. Nandito na ako sa pinakasulok natin para hindi natin marinig yung mga noise sa labas kasi magkakalapit lang kami dito ng bahay sa Pilipinas guys. So maingay talaga sa labas. So today is 20 March 2023, History of the Filipino People by Agoncillo and Guerrero. Part 6 na tayo, the Third Republic. Topic number 27, Profile of the Economy. And then nandito tayo sa paragraph. Oh, muntik na mahulog. Kasi nga nagtatago na ako dito so wala akong mapapatungan. So ngayon nandito na tayo sa paragraph Unfavorable features of the economy. Basa. Unfavorable features of the economy, the comparative rise in gross national output and national income, and the expansion of trade and commerce for the last 10 years do not necessarily mean the healthy growth of Filipino economy, for while the gross national output and national income may reflect growth, this growth nevertheless is not necessarily Filipino growth. The census of 1948 shows that the total foreign assets in the Philippines was 1,203 million or 48.1% of the total assets of the country, while Filipinos own 51.9% of the total assets. This means that the total assets were and continue to be almost equally divided between Filipinos and foreigners, certainly not a flattering situation in a country where Filipinos are supposed to control the economy. The following table clearly illustrates the point. Philippines, tapos sa kabilang column guys is foreign countries. So unahin natin Philippines and then foreign countries ha. Transportation, Philippines 76.1%, foreign countries 23.9%. Forestry, Philippines 51.9%, foreign countries 42.3%. Di ko alam kung matatabunan ko yung ingay sa labas. Palakasan na kami ng boses dito. Mining, 42.4%, Philippines, and then foreign country 57.6%. Electricity, Philippines 17.8%, foreign countries 82.2%. Fisheries 100% for Philippines, and then foreign countries blank siya. Commerce 46.1% Philippines, foreign countries 53.9%. Manufacturing 49.1% Philippines, foreign countries 50.9%. It is obvious that the aliens control mining, electricity, commerce, and manufacturing, while Filipinos have a complete control of fisheries and a better control of forestry and transportation. The statistics shows that a large portion of the total assets of the country is in the hands of aliens who have the power, because of their wealth, to influence or even to control the political and economic policies of the country. In the import trade, Filipino participation is very much less than that of the foreigners because the former's capital is very much less than that of the latter. Consequently, the alien traders and businessmen in the Philippines enjoy a position of privilege which even the Filipino businessmen do not enjoy in their own country. The increase in the economic power of any group also increases its political power. Consequently, the aliens in the Philippines enjoy superstitiously a political power that poses a danger to the political independence of the country. Economic nationalism, the predominant role of aliens in Philippine economy, and their growing influence in the political sphere met with opposition from at first a small sector of the intellectuals and Filipino businessmen under the leadership of Senator Claro M. Recto. The latter's assault, pasensya na kung mabilis ha. The latter's assaults on the then popular theory of foreign investment in the Philippines in order to improve the national economy were looked upon with suspicion not only by foreign investors and their dummies among the Filipinos but also by President Magsaysay himself, who was too polite to American powerful figures to oppose their impositions on the Filipinos. At first, a voice in the wilderness, Senator Recto was joined by Carlos P. Garcia when the latter was catapulted to the presidency in 1957, Garcia's administration heralded the resurgence of Filipino nationalism, the realization that even the central bank discriminated against Filipino businessmen in the allocation of dollars for imports, and the fact that about 70% of the domestic trade and about 80% of the foreign trade are in the hands of aliens, principally Chinese and Americans, led the Garcia administration to enunciate officially the Filipino First policy. This was contained in Resolution Number 204 adopted by the National Economic Council in EC on August 21, 1958. Henceforth, Filipinos would be given preference in all matters pertaining to the economic development of the country. The political impact of the Filipino First policy was tremendous. The Nacionalista Party made political issue of it, and its candidates toured the barrios to explain its meaning and significance. The policy caught fire, especially among the Filipino businessmen and the intellectuals, and the Philippine Chamber of Commerce promptly adopted it as a slogan. The result of such a policy can be gleaned from the fact that Filipino participation in dollar allocation as of December 1959 jumped to 51%, meaning that Filipino businessmen might in the near future capture the domestic and foreign trade from the powerful aliens. If continued unabated, the Filipino First policy may yet lead to genuine industrialization, to more employment, and to the capture of national economy by Filipinos, the alien businessmen who have been the lords and masters of Philippine economy since time immemorial, or alarmed at the spread of economic nationalism and through Filipino dummies spread the rumor that the Garcia administration was anti-alien, more particularly anti-American and anti-Chinese. They saw in the Filipino First policy the eventual liquidation of their dominant role as economic czars of the country, which has been so tolerant of even the most unscrupulous and ruthless among the foreigners. But President Garcia on December 27, 1959 dismissed the calculated rumor when he emphasized that the Filipino First policy was not in any way directed against any alien but was a struggle for the natural right of the Filipino people to be supreme in their own country. The economic awakening, particularly in the Philippines' insistence on nationalizing the retail trade, which took effect in 1964, led to American cries of anti-Americanism and to pressures on the government to amend. Led to American cries of anti-Americanism and to pressures on the government to amend the law in such a way as to give American businessmen in the Philippines a decided advantage even over Filipino entrepreneurs. The American Chamber of Commerce in particular declared in September 1964 that the drive behind the nationalization legislation during the past decade and more is the natural desire of the Filipinos to play a dominant part in the conduct of their industry and trade of the country, when it is not merely the aim, as no doubt it is of a few, to enrich themselves by stealing from others. The statement drew the ire of Filipino nationalist and Senator Lorenzo Tañeda, one of the foremost nationalists and considered the successor of the late Senator Claro M. Recto, denounced the American attitude in a privileged speech on the floor of the Senate. Said the senator, "Are these the words of friends that Americans are supposed to be? They recognize or claim they do the basic merit of the nationalization movement, yet they snipe at it. They would place the entire movement under suspicion as the aim of a few to enrich themselves by stealing from others. They sneer at it, a blind nationalism proof of an inferiority complex. They take pot shots at our Supreme Court. They take pot shots. POTSHOTS. They take pot shots at our Supreme Court, which courageously upheld nationalistic legislation as a legitimate exercise of the police power of the state of Congress and the executive arm of our government. The crusade for Filipino dominance in the economic field is on, but it will take a truly nationalistic government administration to free the country from alien control. Guys, bukas na yung the courts on the retail trade and parity. Magpupapo ka na dito. Baka mamaya maririnig mo dyan po, puro ingay na lang. Bye everyone. God bless.